students. So this is video 5. We will continue with other male urogenitary disorders. So today we will see and we will finish two conditions. With this, the disorders are over. Then later next class we will see about the therapies. So epididymo-orchitis. We will see what is epididymo-orchitis. The last class we saw what is orchitis. So this acute epididymo-orchitis is a clinical syndrome. So when we say syndrome, it is group of disease conditions which consists of pain, swelling and inflammation of the epididymis. So this is the tube, right, which goes behind the testicles, with or without inflammation of the testis. So mainly where the inflammation of the epididymis happen, with or without the inflammation of the testis. The most common route of infection is local extension and is mainly due to infections spreading from the urethra, which is sexually transmitted infection, or from the bladder. So they say how this gets infected is mainly it can be because of the spread that happens from the urethra, again which is caused because of the sexually transmitted infection, or it can be from the bladder. What are the causes? So in men under 35 years old, this infection is often due to sexually transmitted pathogen, that is chlamydia, trachomitis and Neisseria gonorrhea. So below 35 years, it is caused because of sexually transmitted infection, and the causative organism is chlamydia trachomitis and Neisseria gonorrhoeae. Next, in men over 35 years old, infection is most often due to non-sexually transmitted gram-negative enteric organism causing urinary tract infection. Example, E. coli Pseudomonas species. Specific risk factors include recent instrumentation or catheterization. Okay, so above 35 it is non-sexual cause, and it can be because of organisms like E. coli or Pseudomonas. So when they get urinary tract infection, if it is not treated properly, okay, and the causative organism E. coli Pseudomonas species, okay, so they also have risk factors like recent instrumentation or catheterization that was done, then it can lead to infection of the epididymis. Next, however, there is an overlap between these groups, and a thorough sexual history is imperative for all age groups. Though we have seen that there are different causative organisms above 35 or below 35, it is always good that we collect the history, okay, and then find out. So sexual history is important. You find out what is the reason, okay. Then mumps should be considered as an etiology since the epidemic 2005. So mumps is also said which can lead to secondary infection of epididymis, that is the epididymo-orchitis. And then you have extrapulmonary tuberculosis, TB. It presents about 40 to 45% of TB cases in the UK, but tuberculosis epididymo-orchitis is rare presentation. It is likely to present in patients from high prevalence countries or with a previous history of TB, and particularly in patients with immunodeficiency. So if there is an immunodeficiency, then that can lead to infection. If a person is infected with TB, then it can again infect the epididymis. It is usually a result of disseminated infection and commonly associated with renal TB, but can be a isolated finding. With tuberculosis, if they are severely immunosuppressed, then it can lead to epididymo-orchitis. Uroplasma urealyticum is found in men with epididymo-orchitis, often in association. So you can also see this ureaplasm urealyticum present with gonorrhea and trachomatis infection. So these are the various causes. So we have seen above 35, less than 35, but still different organisms can lead, but still we'll have to check with both age group, the thorough sexual history. Then TB patients, mumps, okay, and then ureaplasma urealyticum is also found in men with this condition, okay, along with gonorrhea and trachomatis infection. So these are all the various causative organism or etiological factors. Next we will see clinical manifestation. So when we say tenderness, what is tenderness? Pain on touch. They will not have pain when you touch. They will say they are having pain. That is called as tenderness. To palpation on the affected side, whichever side. Okay, when we palpate, if they have pain, it is called as tenderness. On the affected side, mostly we will see that the patient will have pain. Palpable swelling of the epididymis, starting with the tail at the lower pole of the testis and spreading towards the head of the upper pole of the testis, with or without involvement of the testicle. So when we see there is a palpable swelling will be there in the epididymis, we know because inflammation is there, automatically swelling will be there. Then starting with the tail of the lower pole of the testis and spreading towards these are the places where you can actually see the swelling, upper pole of the testis, and then without involvement of the testicle, you will see a swelling. Then you will also see there may be an urethral discharge secondary to hydrocele. Erythema, and what is erythema? Reddish color, okay, because of the infection or inflammation. Okay, so you see that there is a redness around the area, erythema, and or edema. What is edema? Fluid collection of the scrotum on the affected side, and pyrexia. Pyrexia is fever. So you will see any infection, you know that there will be discharge. So you will see urethral discharge, hydrocele fluid collection will be there in the scrotum, okay. Then erythema, edema of the scrotum on the affected side, and because of this the patient will also exhibit pyrexia, which is the fever. Next you have Gram stain urethral smear. So what they do, they will take the discharge from the urethra in a cotton and they will put it in the slide and they will apply Gram staining, keep it under microscope, and they will see which bacteria is affected, okay, or is getting in which is infected by which bacteria. That will be checked under Gram stained urethral smear. Then you also have urethral swab. Again the discharge will be taken in a cotton swab, sterile, okay, and it will be checked for gonorrhea. Culture will be sent. Urethral swab for nucleic acid amplification test, which is done for gonorrhea. Okay, so they will see, like we have already seen, various organisms causing. So they will do the urethral swab test to find out whether if it is Trachomatis infection or if it is Neisseria gonorrhoeae, okay, or if it is any other bacteria, that will be found out. Then microscopy and culture of midstream urine specimen will be taken. Now I think you should have already studied in your first year in foundations of nursing. So what is midstream urine? When the patient is voiding, then first the patient has to void. In between you have to collect the urine. So that is called as midstream urine. So that is taken as a specimen for bacteria. So urine analysis including nitrite or a leukocyte esterase test is helpful, but it is not diagnostic. So again it is a nitrate test which will be done. Urine analysis will be done, okay, and then but they say that it is not much helpful for diagnosis. So these are the various clinical manifestation and diagnostic procedure also they have include. Okay, so tenderness, swelling, you will see erythema, and then hydrocele, okay, inflammation of the testis without the involvement of the testicle. Then you will see discharge, secondary hydrocele, erythema, all this. And next comes the diagnostic evaluation. Before that, please include history collection, physical examination. So they have given you together, okay, so please include that. And then we have seen like how urethral swab is taken for different cultures, and Gram stain urethral smear, then microscopic culture of the midstream urine analysis. Okay, next we'll go to management. So when we talk about management, if there is any possibility of torsion, means twisting, okay, arrange urgent urology opinion, because sometimes surgery will be done to correct that twisting. So we'll have to check if there is any possibility of torsion. Arrange urgent urology opinion. If there is possible STI, example younger age, multiple partners or new partner, okay, then you have refer urgently to a genitourinary clinic for full sexually transmitted infection screening, treatment and contact tracing. Okay, so if there is any possibility, you will have to arrange for urology doctor opinion. And then if there is STI, if a person is of younger age and you get to know during history that the person has got multiple sexual partners, then immediately we have to do full screening of STI, treatment and contact tracing. Whoever is in contact with this person, they also would have developed the infection. So, find out and ask them to get treated. Advice to avoid unprotected sex until treatment and follow-up, including tracing and treating sexual contacts, have been completed. Next, we will see the general advice. So, when we talk about the general advice, it is mainly talking about the management. So, already as we have seen, torsion. If there is any urological, then sexually transmitted disease, they have to do the full screening. Okay, so general advice, we have to give analgesia because they will be having swelling and pain. The non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs should be given, and tell the patient to abstain from sexual intercourse activity. Drugs, we will see what are the medicine that is given to the patients.